Son of a Night Fury. Written by Dragonfan 101. 6. Dragon training. After Hiccup was given the news by his father that he was actually going into training with the other kids here, he prepared himself for what he'll be facing. Godber was the one who taught them about what dragons they'll be facing, and today he's gonna need to brace himself for what's to come. He didn't want this to happen after that experience he went through with those two dragons. It really made him feel like he can't kill dragons, he just wouldn't. But now, he has to find a way to push through this training, possibly fail purposely so he doesn't end up disappointing everyone again. But if his father is telling him to do this, he has to try the best he can at least. He still had questions regarding the second dragon, who was with the Night Fury. He just like that other dragon spared him for some reason when they both had the chance to finish him. Whatever the reason was, he has to find out soon, but there was something different about that one specifically. He doesn't know why, but he's getting a strange feeling from it. That it's not like the others. But while Hiccup wanted time to think to himself about all of this, he didn't have much to do so. As the day came on a rainy morning, he had to get up early to meet up with Gubber, who was taking the other kids to the training arena. This was gonna be an important step into becoming a Viking, and he just hopes he at least is decent here. Everyone followed Gubber to the training arena after he opened up the gates. Everyone was ready to begin their training, and were looking forward to seeing how it's gonna go. Welcome to Dragon Training. Gubber introduced us Astrid and the other kids from before walk into the arena. No turning back. Astrid said as they all looked around the large arena. It was pretty wide open and had plenty of room for battle tactics, and there was a chained-up ceiling at the top to prevent any dragons from getting out. This place has been used to train multiple generations of Vikings, and they were the next to be training here now. I'm hoping to get some serious burns. Tufton said with a smirk as they all looked around the arena. I'm hoping for some mailing, like around my shoulder or my lower back. Ruffin added while they gripped the weapons they were giving. Yeah, it's only fun if you get a scar out of it. Astrid said casually before they all noticed Hiccup was joining them for this. Yeah, no kidding, right? Pain, love it. Hiccup said sarcastically while he held his axe, which annoyed a few of them seeing him here. But great, who let him in? Tufton complained before Godber went in to get things moving. Let's get started. The recruit who does best will win the honor of killing his first dragon in front of the entire village. Godber announced while he twisted his hood hand around and motioned over the arena for an example. Hiccup already killed a Night Fury, possibly even 2 dragons from what he said, so does that disqualify him more? Snotlet joked, which made the twins laugh a bit while Hiccup felt unsure about this before Godber went to encourage him a bit. Don't worry, you're small, weak, that'll make you less of a target. They'll see you as sick or insane, and go after them more Viking-like instead. Godber assured while Hiccup rolled his eyes hearing that. Or go after me first since I'm the easiest to kill for them. Hiccup replied since that seemed to be most likely. Just a which you can to prove yourself, okay? Godber asked before he went over to the cages containing multiple dragons that will be for multiple classes. So behind these doors are just a few of the many species you will all learn to fight. Like the deadly netter. Godber went on while the cages shook a bit while growls were on the other side. Speed 8, armor 16. Officials listed out as Godber continued on. The hideous Zippleback. Godber continued while looking at a larger cage. Plus 11 stealth times 2. Officials continued, which Godber was finding a bit annoying. The monstrous nightmare. Godber said dramatically as that was the deadliest one they have here. Firepower 15. Officials said as Godber went to the second to last gate. The terrible terror. Godber went on while the gates were being pushed roughly from whatever inside it. Attack 8, Venom 12. Officials said with a smile which made Godber snap a bit. Can ye stop that, officials? Godber asked with frustration before he calmed down and went to the last gate. And the Grankle. Godber finished while he put his hand on the gate's lock. Draw strength. 8. Officials whispered, which made some of the kids nervous a bit. Whoa. Aren't you gonna teach us first? Snotlet asked with some fear while Godber backed up a bit. I believe in learning on the job. Godber replied before he finally opened the gate, which made the Grankle burst out of it to attack them. Everyone started running around to avoid it attacking them since it was a really tough dragon for a lot of them. Today's about survival. If you get blasted, you're dead. Godber instructed us. Some of them screamed while barely avoiding the thing crashing into them. Quick. What's the first thing you're going to need? Godber asked with a serious tone. A doctor. Hiccup suggested while he held his axe tightly. Plus 5 speeds. Officials suggested, which was also wrong. A shield. Astrid answered with an angry look, which was correct. Shields. Go. Godber encouraged as every kid went over to the pile of shields that were laying down for them. Each of them was picking up one for each of them while the Grankle was flying over the arena to attack. The most important piece of equipment is a shield. If you have a choice between a sword or a shield, take the shield. Godber instructed as he helped Hiccup pick one of them up before he pushed him back into the battle while the twins grabbed the same shield at once. "Get your hands off my shield," Tufton complained while they were pulling it from under Hector. "There's a million shields. Pick any other, you idiot." Ruffin insulted while Tufton saw one shield that could work for her. "Take that one down there, it has flowers on it. Girls like flowers." Tufton argued back before Ruff picked up the shield and smacked it against his face. "Oops, now this one has blood on it." Ruffin insulted again, which made him more angry, and because of the little struggle right here, it made the Grankle shoot a blast right at the shield which destroyed it instantly and knocked the two of them down. "Tufton, Ruffin, you're out," Godber announced while they were feeling dizzy from that rough hit. "What?" they both asked at once while looking dizzy from the hit. "Those shields are good for another thing. Noise. Make lots of it. And throw off the dragon's aim," Godber instructed again, which made the kids smack their weapons against their shields, which was starting to make the Grankle's vision blurry from the noise they were making. "All dragons have a limited number of shots. How many does a Grankle have?" Godber asked again as everyone else was keeping their guard up. "5. Snotlet suggested before Fishlegs answered it next. "No, 6. Fishlegs answered honestly while raising his shield. "Correct. 6. That's 1 for each of you," Godber shouted just as the Grankle shot a blast at Fishlegs' shield, which meant he was done for this session. "Fishlegs, out," Godber announced again while Fishlegs was pretty scared and started running away in fear. Hiccup tried coming out of a hiding spot he was in, but he was barely able to avoid another blast from the Grankle again. "Hiccup, getting there," Godber ordered while he went in a bit tighter as Astrid and Snotlet were the only other ones left. The Grankle snarled again as it looked over for anyone else trying to attack it before it soon noticed Snotlet and Astrid were not too far away from it, and Snotlet was too distracted with something else to even try paying attention. "So anyway, just to let you know, I moved into my parents' basement. You should come by and work out. You look like you work out," Snotlet offered, which Astrid found annoying with what he meant, and she quickly rolled away from another blast which hit Snotlet and destroyed his shield as a result. "Snotlet, you're done," Godber declared while Hiccup and Astrid were the only ones left. "So I guess it's just you and me, huh?" Hiccup asked nervously as Astrid saw the dragon moving to them again. "Nope, just you," Astrid said bluntly before she rolled out of another blast from the dragon which blew Hiccup's shield away, which made him vulnerable. "One shot left," Godber announced as Hiccup was running to try and get his shield, but the Grankle was chasing after him now like Hiccup feared would happen, making Godber scared for his safety. "Hiccup!" Godber screamed while he started rushing over to save him. Hiccup breathed heavily as he was pinned to a wall by the Grankle, and as it was charging up its last shot to fire at Hiccup, Godber thankfully stepped in and lifted it upwards, which barely missed Hiccup, meaning it couldn't fire anymore for now. "And that's 6. Go back to bed, you overgrown sausage," Godber said with anger as he twirled the thing around and roughly threw it into its cage before he slammed it shut and locked it so it doesn't get out until it's needed again. "You'll get another chance, don't you worry," Godber said as everyone else was getting back up from all they went to meet up with Hector again. "Remember, a dragon will always go for the kill," Godber said in a warning tone while looking at Hiccup specifically, but hearing that made Hiccup remember his encounter with those dragons, and it got him wondering on something important. After that first session, Hiccup quickly snuck off again and went back to the forest to try and see if he could find those two dragons again. He knew something was different about them, but after hearing this information, he had to try and see things for himself. Hiccup soon made his way back to the place where he set them free. He could see the remains of the trap that hasn't moved since yesterday, and he had many questions he couldn't answer right now. "So why didn't either of you do it?" Hiccup asked himself as he lightly picked up the ropes to observe them, before he looked ahead to where the two flew off. He felt like they were still nearby, and he tried doing what he could to find them. He carefully made his way through the forest, being sure not to get into any trouble since he's alone by himself. While he's been through this forest plenty of times before, he's always had to keep his guard up for anything that may attack him. But soon enough, after pushing through some larger branches, and making his way through a tight space between some rocks, Hiccup soon found what looked like a very large, open grove that was where he thought the Night Fury and that other dragon went. But he couldn't hear anything other than the sounds of nature, and that the place looked completely empty, which made Hiccup feel like this was a waste of time. Well, this was stupid, Hiccup told himself as he looked around the place. But as he looked below him, he saw what looked like scales from the Night Fury itself, like it had fallen into the grove after what happened yesterday. But as he went and picked one of them up for observation, a loud roar was suddenly heard right below him, which made him scream a bit with fear. He quickly backed up and fell on his back as he saw the Night Fury really was still here. It was trying to climb its way out of the grove to escape, but it couldn't make it up the steep slope, and it only ended up gliding back down to the ground. Hiccup breathed heavily again before he took out his notebook from before and tried getting a closer look at it. He could hear the dragon roar as it tried flying in the air, but it continued to fail each time and ended up hitting the ground again, and Hiccup tried drawing the creature the best he could with the side he has in front of him. The dragon was trying to fly up into the air multiple times, but it kept on failing each time, and Hiccup tried drawing its tail fin to see if it could fly. "Why won't you just fly away?" Hiccup asked again as he saw the Night Fury shoot a plasma blast again, and he soon noticed its tail fin was missing, meaning it won't be able to fly, which made him scratch that part of the diagram away. But before he could continue trying to study it, he heard what sounded like another voice within the grove, and he quickly ducked down to avoid being seen. "Dad, please stop. It's not gonna get any better," a voice said regretfully, which made Hiccup lightly peek into the grove to see where it came from. But to his surprise, he saw that other dragon from before walk up to the Night Fury on two legs. Hiccup couldn't believe the sight in front of him right now. He never thought any dragon was able to do that like a human, and with what he just heard, it can talk too. He saw the smaller dragon come up to him with a few spare fish he was able to catch, and they both sat down by the lake again to figure out what to do. "I'm sorry, but I don't think there's anything I can do for your tail, Dad. And if you can't fly, how are we gonna get out of here?" The dragon spoke again, which made Hiccup almost skip a heartbeat out of shock with what he's seeing. No dragon has ever been able to do that, and if this is true, what he felt about him was right. He really is different from the other dragons. How is this possible?" Hiccup asked with surprise as he slowly tried drawing the other dragon's design in his notebook, taking what he saw with him on all fours yesterday, and how he's standing on two legs now like a human. It was a discovery like no other, and no one would believe him unless they see it for themselves. He could see the dragon giving the Night Fury a couple fish at it while it took just one that it roasted. They both looked at the lake with guilt, not knowing how to fix this. "I'm doing what I can to find us food until we get out of here, but I don't know how long it can last, Dad," he said regretfully, which made Hiccup even more surprised hearing it. "Dad," Hiccup whispered to himself as he fully finished the green and purple dragon's design on his notebook, but he still had many questions as to what kind of dragon he even is. Hiccup looked closer at the two dragons, who hadn't noticed him thankfully, and he soon saw the purple dragon flinch a bit before he made a loud sneeze which shut out some fire, and to add on to more of it, it was also like the Night Fury's plasma blast, only raising more questions for him. "Bless you," the Night Fury said to Spike, which only he understood. "Thanks," Spike said as he rubbed his nose a bit since it was a bit stuffy. They both looked down and tried eating their food to figure it out, and Hiccup tried to draw a bit more in his notebook before he accidentally dropped his pencil, which fell far into the grove. This made the two dragons notice it fall in the distance, and they looked up to where it came from, and to Spike's surprise, it was the same kid from yesterday. He didn't look like he was gonna attack, but rather observing them, and if he was here moments ago, he may have saw him speak. The two dragons stayed silent while looking up at Hiccup, who slowly started to leave. He didn't want to cause trouble with him, and after he saw a talking dragon, he needs time to think this over to himself. Spike was about to step up and go after the boy to make sure he doesn't tell anyone, but his father stopped him with his wand and odd risk him being harmed. "Spike, don't. He'll likely be heading to his home by now, and from there will be hundreds of Vikings moving around the place. It's too risky for you to go, and I am not losing anything else again," he said in a serious tone, which made Spike sigh sadly before he sat back down again next to him. "But I think you may have seen me standing and speaking like a human like him. What if he tries to tell others about this and let them to us?" Spike asked with worry for what could happen with his secret possibly being exposed. "Oh please, who's gonna believe a story like that anyway? I don't think those Vikings would believe a story of a walking, talking dragon that was with a Night Fury. Do you realize how ridiculous that could sound to them?" he asked in a joking tone, which made Spike calm down a bit since it was true for the most part. Some people are stupid enough to believe stories like that. Let's just hope he doesn't tell anyone about it." Spike prayed while they both headed to a safer spot to hide. They could feel that it was going to rain harshly pretty soon, and they didn't want to be caught in a potentially bad storm. After seeing this extremely shocking news, knowing that there's a talking dragon with a Night Fury from before, he quickly made his way back home to the dining halls where everyone else was. He had so much to process and think about after seeing this, and it was the only thing on his mind right now, and he just needed time to think it over. It was starting to rain roughly after the sun set again. He could feel it was only gonna get worse from here, and he tried hurrying to the halls to avoid getting soaked even more. "So, what did Astrid go wrong in the ring today?" Godber asked as he and the other kids were there too discussing over what happened today. I misstimed my somersault dive. It was sloppy, threw off my reverse tumble. Astrid said with some shame for messing that up earlier. Yeah, we noticed. Ruffed replied with a casual tone as everyone was eating what they were given. No. That was so great. That was so. Astrid snorted said as Hiccup was going over to get some food himself. She's right, you have to be tough on yourselves. So where did Hiccup go wrong today? Godber asked again while Hiccup went over to a separate table since no one wanted him there again. He showed up. Ruffin asked in a joking tone. He didn't get eaten. Tufton complained as he sat down after being really soaked from the rain. He's never where he should be. Astrid added again, making Hiccup more ashamed of himself from hearing that. Thank you, Astrid. We need to live and breath this stuff. Godber said as he took out a very old-looking book full of important information. The Dragon Manual, it has everything we know about every dragon we know of. Godber said as he put it on a table in front of the others. What about one that can walk and talk? Hiccup thought to himself while he looked at the book from his seat. Everyone was able to hear thunder coming from outside, which meant nothing bad will happen tonight, thankfully. No attacks tonight, study up. Godber ordered as he was taking his leave. Wait. You mean read? Tufton asked with an upset look. While we're still alive. Ruffin added as none of them wanted to read it again. Why read words when you can just kill the stuff the words tell you about? Snotlet asked with frustration while he slammed his fist on the table, and Fischl started to go on about what he learned from that book since he's the only one of all of them to read it. Oh. I've read it like 7 times. There's this water dragon that sprays boiling water at your face. Fischl listed it, which made everyone look at him with a weirded out look. And then there's this other one that buries itself for like a week. Fischl continued before the twins interrupted him again. Yeah, that sounds great. There was a chance I was gonna read that. Tufton said with a bit of a bored look. But now, Ruffin added as everyone was starting to stand up to head home. You guys read, I'll go kill something. Snotlet said as everyone was starting to leave while they kept talking with each other while Hiccup went up to Astrid, who was the only one here now. So I guess we'll share. Hiccup asked, making her want to leave again. Read it. Astrid said with an uninterested tone while taking her leave too, leaving Hiccup by himself. Wow. All mine then. Okay, I guess I'll see you, huh? Hiccup said before the door slammed shut before he could even finish, making him sigh sadly seeing it. Tomorrow, Hiccup finished while he looked at the book with interest. There was still a few other Vikings in the halls for the night, and he decided to wait a bit before seeing it himself. It took a couple hours for him to get his chance to get back to the halls. All the candles and lights were out, making it extremely dark for him to move around, but he carried a spare candle he could use to help him read the book, and soon enough, he made it back to the table since it was still there, thankfully. Thunder continued to rumble as Hiccup sat down and put his candle right next to him. He soon opened up the book and started reading it to see if there was anything on the 2 dragons he saw earlier. Dragon classifications, strike class, third class, mystery class. Hiccup read to himself as he turned the pages and saw a drawing and description of a dangerous dragon with a large mouth and tons of dangerous spikes around its body, a dragon he hasn't encountered yet. Thunderdrum. This reclusive dragon inhabits sea caves and dark tide pools. When startled, it can release a concussive sound that can kill a man at close range. Extremely dangerous, kill on sight. Hiccup read as he saw its design, the place it usually lives around, and how brutal its kill can be if a victim falls to it before he turned to another page that had a dragon with really big and large wings while flying through forest trees. Timberjack. This gigantic creature has razor-sharp wings that can slice through full-grown trees. Extremely dangerous, kill on sight. Hiccup said with some fear while ominous music was playing as he read it. Scaldron. Sprays scalding water at its victim. Extremely dangerous. Hiccup said again as he saw the dragon that Fischl had talked about earlier, but got scared and screamed a bit as the thunder boomed even louder than before while lightning flashed outside from the door, which was only cracked open a small bit. Hiccup took a deep breath before he turned back to the book and tried seeing anything else they know. Changeling. Even newly hatched dragons can spray acid, kill on sight. Hiccup continued as he its dangerous design too before he kept reading it. Grankle. Zippelvac. The Skrill. Bonapper. Whispering death. Hiccup listed out as he saw multiple dangerous-looking dragons that showed him how many there really is. Burns its victims, buries its victims, chokes its victims, turns its victims inside out. Hiccup said while he started turning each page seeing almost the same thing. Extremely dangerous. Extremely dangerous. Kill on sight. Kill on sight. Kill on sight. Hiccup repeated until he finally came to the page that was about the dragon and he had questions about. Night Fury. Hiccup read as he saw only a few bits of information about it as its roar was heard from its name being mentioned. Speed unknown. Size unknown. The unholy offspring of lightning and death itself. Never engage this dragon, only chance. Hide and pray does not find you. Hiccup read as he finally reached the end of the book, with barely anything being there for him to learn about it. And Hiccup didn't find anything on the dragon he saw talking earlier, and just still had many questions on how this is possible. Then what kind of dragon are you? Hiccup asked himself as he looked at the drawing he saw of that other dragon from before, and he put the book on the page with the Night Fury drawing next to its description. Barely anything was known about them, and even with what he learned from this book, there was still much left unanswered, and he just hoped that soon enough, he'll find out what this all means. If you guys are enjoying this story, please give it a like, comment your thoughts, give me a follow and share this